The field mic and the jammer, two very important pieces of equipment that can change the whole game when used in the correct way. Neither of these pieces of field upgrades actually despawn. They have very little health, so you'll want to place them in a very delicate place. In this video, I'm going to show you the best places for all of the multiplayer maps and how to best utilise their features. In the description will be timestamps, as this video is slightly longer than normal as it covers all of the multiplayer maps. Feel free to skip through the video if you want to find out something specific, otherwise let's get on with the video. Thank you for joining me, my name is Gabba, and today we're going to be taking a look at a few places you can place your field mic and jammer that would last the entire match. I call these positions passive. They are good for detecting spawn flips and protecting a home flag. While opposing to this are the high traffic areas in the middle of the map that really can clutch during a long streak, and of course help you with those gold gun challenges. Field upgrades in these locations are often cut short by a random grenade or someone using the engineer perk. There are a few of those locations in this video, and I'm going to point out the best places to keep it alive the longest. So both these items can be placed out of bounds. If you're quick enough, you only have 3 seconds to get in there and get out again. After a 5-second timer, the 3 seconds will reset and you're allowed to go back out of bounds once again. You ask, why would I go out of bounds to place a field upgrade? Well, really, it's to avoid stray grenades. It's of course to avoid kill streaks that don't often target in that area. Engineers don't often look in that direction, plus it can be behind extra cover. And of course, that keeps them alive a lot longer. Jammers don't just disable the enemy radar or minimap, they actually disable field mics when in the radius. They also disrupt the SAM turrets. They also disable enemy trophy systems in the radius too. So when you're attacking a building, trying to capture a hard point, consider placing a jammer. This will disable the trophy systems, allowing your grenades to do their work. Both these field upgrades do require placing at your feet. Sadly, they cannot be thrown, so the location has to be literally where you stand. In this video, I do discover a few areas you're not supposed to go, but you can still place it. But unlike the trophy system, you're not able to throw it round corners or over the top of a building out of view. Using the Spycraft perk, you can actually hack a maximum of 24 items at once in multiplayer. That's of course 12 versus 12. If every enemy is using the Gearhead perk, they can place down 2 at any one time. If they place a third, you can't hack that, it will automatically disable the first one. And of course, 2 of your own, that means up to 26 items on one map at once. As crazy as it sounds, you could in theory cover the entire map with field mics. How cool is that? The radius of the jammer is 20 meters. Enemies in this radius have no use of their minimap. Your teammate's gunfire will actually be disclosed in the first 15 meters of the jammer, so no enemy can see their bullets. These numbers, though, are only in the horizontal value. What about the vertical? The field mic is also not limited to just its horizontal radius. How far above it can it detect footsteps? On screen now are the 2 radii of the field mic. Notice the height difference in the inner circle versus the outer circle. The center circle is 24 meters across in the horizontal direction and picks up all footsteps except for crouch walking. In this radius, it only shows enemies using ninja while they sprint. Notice the oval shape of this field upgrade. My best tests came from the map Armada, placing the field mic down on the submarine, and it still picked up footsteps on 2 floors above it. I tried this again in Dirty Bomb, but was not able to find a suitable building large enough to test the height limit of this device. Sadly, the large sniping towers would not let me place this item down to test out its full vertical range. Testing field upgrades and other things in Warzone is something I really look forward to doing in December when the games combine. They're mixing Black Ops Cold War with, of course, Warzone, as you may already know. That's coming in a later video, so please make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on that future video. The larger radius is much less sensitive. The outer 40-meter radius will only show enemies that are sprinting, or it shows the decoy grenade. This radius is much less effective at heights and only really suitable for showing 2 floors of a building, whereas the center will show easily the 3rd floor and above. Last bit of information before I move on to the best locations. The jammer is very much like the center radius of the field mic, 40 meters in horizontal, but I'm yet to find a height limit. I don't know how tall this can go. I'm yet to find a location on any of the multiplayer maps that actually affects the height. I'm really looking forward to testing this in Battle Royale later this month. Now we move on to the best places to use these field upgrades. There are currently 8 multiplayer maps, so I want to be quite quick with each of them to show you the best placements. Keeping in mind these are just my suggestions based on how long it could survive, how well protected it may be in certain game modes, and how to get maximum coverage. Again, let me know in the comments what you think. I'm going to start with NukeTown. This video was actually inspired by a game where I hacked an enemy jammer in my own spawn. I was getting 25 points per kill in its radius. It was placed inside our own spawn house upstairs. This was on domination. They had no chance to destroy it. It was there the entire game, and I got a lot of points. Unlike the field mic, the jammer will actually aid the entire team, meaning you'll all get a benefit from the scrambling effect on the enemy radar. This passive placement is perfect for both field mic and the jammer. Downstairs though, on this table out the back is another great place to cover your own spawn in case there's a spawn flip. Look out for that ding. Look out for that noise and you'll notice to turn around and check out your own spawn. This is a great place to hide it from random grenades as it's unlikely to be exploded this far back in that room. I rarely place these field upgrades mid-map, but once we have good map control, I place it right here. Nades are always worth throwing towards an enemy field mic. If you know there's one over there, waste your nade on it. Quite commonly, there are enemies beside those mid-map, so throw grenades towards enemy field upgrades. Here's an out-of-bounds placement you might like. Just jump over the fence and place the field mic in the corner here and jump back in again. This is pretty well protected from explosives. Stray bullets may affect it through the fence here, and only engineers will know it's even there. When it comes to the jammer, avoid putting it here. Clearly it's shown on the enemy minimap as a big grey circle, so put the field mic in there and it should last the entire game. Satellite next. This map has a great mid-map placement, and for me it's yet to be killed by anyone, not even a grenade. Just here on the walkway it covers the B flag and 2 of the hard points nearby. Great placement, just behind this rock. The passive locations for the rest of the maps are going to be 1 per side. Other than NukeTown, the maps are not asymmetrical at all, so there's going to be 1 for the left and of course 1 for the right. Here's my passive placements in both opposite spawns. I would use these locations for when you're using the Gearhead perk and have the option to place a second field upgrade. Lastly, here's a great place mid-map. It very rarely gets destroyed, covers the B flag and is hidden behind a rock. Perfect. Moscow. This has loads of great places, but I'm going to be brief. Remember, keep an eye out for your teammates' trophy systems. Parking your field upgrade in their radius keeps it alive a lot longer, meaning you can actually place your jammers and field mics middle of the map. Just here, outside of the B flag, has lots of protection just behind this thing here. A jammer works very well mid-map as well, but of course, it's a bit risky. It can be easily destroyed, but only really place it here when near a trophy system. So upstairs here on the right-hand side, up the escalators, you'll see an area that's very rarely looked at and no nades will come here, but it does cover quite a lot of the map. Behind the bar is great, really good placement, but what about behind the door? Behind this door never gets looked at, really great place for it. This green room is really nade heavy, but it's really prominent in the middle of the map. You can place it towards the back here. This covers your spawn, so you can understand if there's spawn flips. It's near the C flag, and it's actually quite close to one of the hard points up there. And lastly, for hard point, I've got an out of bounds area just on the right hand side here. Scoot round. If you're quick enough, you can place it and jump back in. Miami. Because Miami is the worst map in the game, I don't think it deserves a proper commentary. So here it is. Place one here between the chairs, cover B. Put one on the balcony. Yeah. At reception under the stairs. You can put one in his green room at the top of the stairs if you want. On the dumpsters in the dark. This map is a lot like Piccadilly, you know. Delete it. Behind the blown up car, you've got to blow it up first. It works really well. You can't really see it. It covers B a little bit as well. And lastly, under this table near the A flag, near the pink flamingo. Look at the wall, crouch down, place it against the wall, and it actually hides under the table. Really hard to see. Anyway, onto the next map, onto Garrison. So this map has some great places, really good ones. In this tunnel is a really good place. It's a quite low traffic area, but it's free of nades, which is one of the best things about this place. Hardly anyone would notice it in this corner here. It's really good for field mics. You'd think under the tank would be a good place, but instead I would go vertical. Go up and put it next to this box depending which way you're spawning, you can actually put it right in their face. They won't even know it's there. Grenades don't really explode there. Really, really good place as well. This out of bounds placement is very unique. It's not like anywhere else in this entire game. It may even be patched, actually, thinking about it, once this sort of gets used commonly. Use it and abuse it for now, and I do apologise if you get killed by it. I'm sure there's a way to counter it, but you can't actually shoot it through the wall. So you want to climb this banister, jump out of the map, run into the corner, and you're going to die. It's worth a suicide to place down something that won't despawn. So get your jammer in this location, or of course get your field mic as close to the wall as possible. It won't be destroyed from the other wall. So works really, really well, and I strongly suggest you guys try it next time you're playing Garrison. And lastly, on top of this tank is the most overpowered head glitch in the game. Place down your jammer or your field mic on top of this. It has a very large radius, it's up high, unlikely to be killed by a grenade, so really good place for it as well. Crossroads Strike is a tiny map with a lot of great places, assuming you know the direction of the enemy spawn. Passive placement just here beside the enemy refuel station. Get this in range of the B flag, and of course you better see most of the opposing building. The same goes for the other side. In this one, it's quite close to the ammo station yet again. Tuck it in the corner, it covers this room, the bridge, and some of B as well. Really good placement yet again. If you're looking to place a second one down, the place near the stairs gives you a lot of coverage. This will cover most of the B flag and domination, and of course a very high traffic area. The jammers and the field mics don't really last that long on this map, based on the fact that there's nades everywhere. It's a nade fest, and there's also 2 refuel stations close together, even more grenades. You kind of want to avoid the high traffic areas, put it in a corner, and hope it lasts as long as possible. Next up, Checkmate. This has the option to take advantage of the verticality of these field upgrades. Here's an obvious one, but on the plane it is always so busy, again with the nades. You want to move this one outside on the plane, just on the wing, to keep this one alive. Underneath is far too busy, but if you know the spawns, I'd move them slightly behind these wooden raised items that you can climb on. Put them just beside that, your side of the spawn. Should cover most of the middle of the map, and it'd be quite protected from the side as well. And for 2 passive placements, just here, it's in the brackets kill house. This is where I'd recommend you place it. And the opposite side of the map, just behind the A flag, it's a really good place as well. Outside of danger, works really well. Cartel is huge, the 12 versus 12 map. There's a lot of great placements, but I'm going to keep it brief. In the corner of this hangar, it works really, really well. It's very free of nades, this sort of portion of the hangar, but it also covers the B flag and this very popular room that is full of grenades. So just in this corner here by the ladder. Under the bridge is actually quite a good passive location. Very rarely will it be noticed, but it will cover the A flag on domination. There's also a hard point nearby. Also, it will cover those times where the spawns flip, so you'll notice that people are behind you. Also, literally any bush will also work. These bushes are so tall, you just don't see it. The ones further away from the middle of the truck work the best, they last the longest. Also tucked away by this yellow barrel near the B flag on domination works really, really well as well. Also covers inside the hangar. I like the idea of up inside this tower, but it's so easily shot by rockets and other things. I suggest you place it down at the base of the ladder in between the sandbags there. Lastly, a good attacking location will be behind this blue barrel just here. Very popular window just there. Just bear in mind, there aren't so many people sprinting inside that room, but it'll give you an idea that someone's in there, so keep your eye out. And finally, we have the multiplayer version of Armada. This is the most vertical map with 3 floors. It's a great place for jammers. Really, really is good. Maybe not so much for the field mic though. Being that enemies could be on any of these floors, it can be quite difficult to pinpoint the exact location. Let me know in the comments what you've noticed. Have you noticed that there's a real issue with the arrows above and below the red dots on the minimap? Kind of makes it difficult to determine what floor people are on. I don't know if it's slightly delayed or what, but let me know in the comments, have you noticed an issue with the red dots on the minimap? These arrows are supposed to help you determine what elevation they are compared to you. So an arrow above would indicate they're above you, but it doesn't really work like that for some reason in Black Ops Cold War. These arrows above and below the red dots are so inconsistent right now, I don't trust them at all. So on a map like Armada, if you have a sound detecting machine right in the middle, it just won't really be as successful as you'd think. Only kind of giving you a vague estimate of which direction to look rather than what floor they're actually on. So with the jammer, I would place one just here, your side of the map. Just behind the cover, it works really, really well. Above and below, it covers all the way to the left and just to the right. A lot of people are going to be affected by this particular jammer. Another great placement, of course, is on top of this submarine. It's very useful. Place it behind the cover. A pro tip is, if you've earned your first field upgrade, it's very likely others have done so too. Try shooting a few bullets in this area from your spawn. Every life, you may get a hit marker and destroy someone's field upgrade. This is the main room of the entire map. It is a hive of damage and grenades, etc. I would avoid placing items in here. It won't take long for something to destroy it. So if you have a teammate there and you're able to look after it, definitely place it down and you can get quite a lot of coverage. You best judge the situation to see, is it best to place here or down below. If you're on a streak, you want to keep that going, you're almost at a 5 streak or almost at a 10 streak, it's worth staying alive for those extra few kills. Place it down. I'd place it in this corner here, away from the grapple, quite close so anyone that goes up will not actually see it. Just here on the side here. On either side of the map, there's this ladder. I'd place it your side of the map in the corner there. Players can't look down enough to kill it. They'd have to throw a grenade or climb down and destroy it. This will last a long, long time, and it also covers most of the central part of the map. And lastly, onto the submarine. Two very, very good places. One at the bottom of the ladder, clearly a very low traffic area. And of course, as you know, it reaches to the top of the map. So really good place to place it. And a little bit out of action, a little bit further back, is between these sort of 4 flaps here. A lot of coverage. Of course, it still reaches inside the central part of the map. Another great place. Well, that wraps up all the multiplayer maps at the moment. As you know, we can't play Fireteam or Combined Arms yet in a private lobby. So these demonstrations only really work when I've got the time to experiment. So until then, that will come in a future video when we can play those in a private game. Until then, my name is Gaber. I hope you enjoyed the video. Talk to me in the comments. Let me know. If you enjoyed the video, of course, drop a like. And of course, subscribe for more. Maybe check out another video you've not seen on the screen right now.